Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. If you are going to be speaking at some point, after I call it to order, we'll be asking for your public input and board input. Would you please state your name, each entitled, if applicable, each time you speak. If you're in the meeting, it's your best to mute yourself. If anyone is hearing impaired, you can click the Otter Al live transcript. I think it's on your upper right-hand corner. I'm sorry, upper left on your Zoom screen, and a window will open with the live transcript. If you click chat and type your question, it'll come into the moderator, and you can type in at any time you want. That way you don't have a bunch of folks at the end that are, have a number of questions at the same time. It'll all be addressed during the public comment section near the end of the agenda. Let's see, if you're calling from your phone, hit *9, and we will know that you want to speak. And we will lower your hand and unmute you. I'm just reading a host of things that are not necessary to read to everybody here. Is that correct? That's it. Okay. Again, thank you for joining us. Very unusual with the COVID situation that the three of us together, but it just happened that way today. We are maintaining distance apart. So we'll jump to the agenda. And let's see, I've already called it to order. Gentlemen, I'd like you to approve the minutes of the May 21st regular Board of Selectmen's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes of the May 21st Selectmen's meeting.
Right? Okay. All right. I do have something to mention. This is by way of clarification. After the minutes were done, I had made a comment. I was asked about absentee ballot versus mail-in ballot. And it's an issue of terminology and semantics, okay? Mail-in ballots per se are illegal in Connecticut. Absentee ballots are not. Now, when you receive an absentee ballot, you fill out the ballot. The way to get it back is to mail it. But I believe I was confusing to some people. I should have referred to it specifically as absentee ballot. Anyway, as mentioned, that was approved by the governor for the August 11th primary. And as I said, they will be returned by mail, but I can't call it mail-in ballots. Now, the other interesting thing about the governor's Executive Order 7QQ is it expires on September 9th. So what's going to happen for the general election in November, we don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Crystal Pond Park. Mr. Klein had sent us an email recently, and I will briefly read that to you. Anyway, he was questioning, Greg was questioning, he had talked to Chris Major, who was chair of the commission. You don't have a copy of the well, no, I remember what it was. The okay. Anyway, the issue was that we're in a bad situation this summer. There's not a lot of recreational activities. I had asked Greg had mentioned some meetings ago about plans for Crystal Park during the summer, and I made a comment about check with Chris and see what his plans are. Well, the thing is, Chris doesn't have any plans, and I talked with him. Greg also was wondering about having a lifeguard at the beach at the camp. And I did a little homework. I met with I spoke with the director, the Chris, as I said, I spoke with him, and I also spoke with Jackie Dubois, who's the first select person over in our adjoining town about the beach. The history, to give you a little background, last October 10th, the Park Commission unanimously voted to suspend indefinitely day camp operations. And the reason for that was liability, security of buildings, safety of campers, inadequate program offerings, unavailable qualified staff, decreasing enrollment, and general finances. Anyway, after Greg had sent me the email, or actually sent it to both of us, I talked to Chris and I talked to Jack and I visited the camp. The camp is, we got a call originally, what are we going to do about the camp? Given the situation with the e-learning for the students and just people staying home and this sort of thing, we decided to keep the camp open. So folks, a lot of passive recreation. They have disc golf out there. My understanding is that people that play that bring their own discs. There's hiking trails, there's fishing, there's a ball field. When I went out there last Saturday, a large number of folks were maintaining social distance. It was mostly family groups, and they were enjoying it. Because of liability and other issues, in speaking with Jackie, we decided not to have a lifeguard because the reason, and a little bit of history, the reason the state has not opened inland waterfront areas at state parks and that sort of thing is because of the social distancing issues, where you've got to have 6 feet from each person, but you also have to have 15 feet between a blanket. So if you go to a beach in state park, you're going to have 15 feet between your blanket and the next blanket. The problem is this would go down to the, it would rest with the lifeguards. DEP is dealing with this on the coast, the lifeguards down there. If the lifeguards are off duty, meaning that they're not sitting in the chair guarding, they have to walk around and make sure social distancing is going on and the distance between blankets. The concern that I have at Crystal, at the town beach and other places is if we have a 19-year-old college student that's working as a lifeguard for the summer, in addition to being the lifeguard, they've got to enforce social distance, and I just don't see that working out. So I talked to Jackie. We were going to officially close the beach, meaning there would be a signed beach closed. Her concern was a lot of folks use that area at Crystal to launch kayaks and canoes. So she was afraid if people showed up to do that and saw a beach closed, they'd feel like they couldn't use it to launch the boats. So what we agreed to do is put a sign up that says beach closed to swimming. So if people show up, they can certainly launch their canoes or kayaks and that sort of thing. And the signs will remain up at the town beach again for the same thing. I know that I've gotten calls from folks who are willing to help out with fundraising to finance, having lifeguards and that sort of thing. The issue is, as I said, having a young person as a lifeguard and expecting them to enforce social distancing is unfair to that person. And as much as I have expressed my appreciation of the people that offer to do the fundraising, that the fundraising was not the issue. The issue was always this COVID-19 thing. And we were just following, information we were getting from the health department, state and local, and DEEP, and also the CDC. So unfortunately, there's not going to be swimming in a lot of places in Northeast Connecticut this year. Yes.
So can you hear me all right? So what really piqued my interest in that, and wanted to discuss it, is the fact that Chris said the beach, at the time when I spoke, the beach is open, swimming is going on, and there were people in there just a couple of days ago, the day I saw him, and I said, myself, I kind of flies in the face of the policy that we enacted at Pond Factory Town Beach, which is closed to swimming. Well, I thought, how can one park be open for swimming, and it's a town-owned park, and the other one be closed? Didn't make any sense, and that's why I wanted to bring to your attention. mentioned that.
They're both closed.
They are now.
Now, no. The town beach has been closed for months.
Right.
But the other one has been closed. But if there's a sign that says closed to swimming, and you and your wife decide to go swimming up there, well, you know, it does say it's closed, and I know damn well people are gonna be going swimming, to be honest with you. But as far as we're concerned, it's closed.
We did our part.
We can't enforce the social distance. That's what it comes down to. And unfortunately, you know, this goes back some months where it was misinterpreted, and many people in town felt it was a financial issue. The reason that came about is the Board of Finance asked the Board of Selectmen to remove $32,000 from the general budget, which we did, and it came from a variety of places. And we realized that by closing the beach, we were going to save X amount of $1,000. Unfortunately, that was misinterpreted as we closed the beach to save the money. It was actually, the beach was closed because of the COVID-19. And oh, by the way, we also saved this money.
What Chris had told me was that the commission considered that the park was open,
It is.
never closed, and that reflected on the swimming opportunities as well. That's what he told me. So that's why that was, you can't have one and not have the other.
You're right. But let me mention this. They have lifeguards when camp was in session from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Camp's over, kids leave, lifeguards leave. There were never lifeguards after 3 o'clock or on weekends. So if people were swimming, they were swimming, but there were no lifeguards. So the idea that the camp is open is true, but we specifically wanted to put a sign out saying beach closed to swimming, because that's our official, stand on there, if you will. And the camp is open. There's a lot of other stuff they can do. Sure.
We've had comments that we cannot hear, we can hear Jay, but they can't hear Greg and Chan, so please speak up.
Can you hear me?
They can hear you,
This
but
isn't a good month. These guys are much more.
thank you.
It's all right. The Lucas chest compression system. I had previously, we'll explain for folks that are listening or watching or whatever. I had sent, this is something we had talked about some time ago, and I had sent both Chan and Greg information about it, cost, and this sort of thing. And this is something that I also sent them a video that they could view how this thing works. We had approved it on March 2nd for the 2021 general government budget under CNR, which is capital improvement non-renewable, and that goes on for about 3 years. It has to go to the Board of Finance for approval. They are already aware of it. Normally, it would go to a referendum in a town meeting. And again, because of the governor, we're not able to do that. What it is it's made by there's a number of them made. It's called the Lucas 2020. It's manufactured by a Stryker Medical Group. What it is basically is it's a machine that does CPR. And the thing is, if any of us were doing CPR on a patient, you got to continue that into the ambulance on a gurney, on the ambulance ride right up to the hospital. You got to continue, and it's exhausting to do that for any of you that've done it. This is an automatic thing that you can place a patient in it, and it will do automatic CPR. You can also transport, meaning carry somebody on a stretcher, drive them in an ambulance, and this sort of thing. While this Lucas system is involved with them. We had allocated, I believe, up to $70,000. It comes out to be the latest, and this came out a couple of days ago, which I also shared with Shannon and Greg. Comes out to about $61,000. The intent is to have 4. And what we would have is one for each. We have one now. but by having 4 additional, we would have 1 for each of the 3 departments, Muddy Brook, the Hill, and Bundy, and 1 for our ambulance, and there would be a backup. So that's about where we stand now.
I did look at the video and it is very impressive. And the fact that it does it better than any human can.
That's true.
I mean, it's a lot of money, but if it saves one life, it's worth 10 times that.
And it's worth mentioning that when the board of selectmen met with the fire department representatives, there were 12 people from the different fire departments present at that meeting. This was the need they wanted to have more than anything else.
You're right. It was like the number 1 thing.
And the interesting part about it is there is a budget for fire apparatus. But this doesn't qualify as fire apparatus because it's EMS equipment. So that's why we created a new item in the CNR budget for EMS and rescue equipment. And this fits into there.
And the other part of that, Greg, is that it has no effect on taxes. It has, it's earmarked. It's earmarked for this purpose. So it's not like taxes are going into this or anything else. It's strictly, again, the CNR, which is earmarked. So how do you want to proceed?
I would make the motion to approve the purchase.
Okay?
All right, as presented by the Woodstock Volunteer Fire Association.
Has this been approved or run by the Board of Finance? Is this?
They are aware of it, and it's going to go. In fact, I don't have it with me, but what you're looking at, this sheet, this and other sheets backing this up is going to, it has already gone today to the Board of Finance. Okay. I was looking at sometime in September, and I think it's going to be addressed at an earlier meeting for them. They are aware of it, they're in favor of it, but they do have to do a formal vote.
Okay, so do you want to modify that motion pending Board of Finance approval?
What was the motion?
I move that we Board of Selectmen approval to this purchase.
We already did. We approved it back in March.
Yeah, but we didn't have the exact, we
Right.
didn't have this.
This is just
Okay.
discussion.
That was a rough number, but this is the projected approval for project.
So approve and then forward to Board of Finance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Approve it to be sent for final approval to the Board of Finance.
All right.
Okay. The other question you mentioned before about referendum.
Yep.
Right? Isn't that only for stuff over 100,000?
It could, referendum and town meeting could be anywhere from $1 to 100,000. So, and the thing is, just to be fair to taxpayers and citizens, I like to be transparent and say, hey, by the way, guys, this is going on, this is what we're thinking, that sort of thing. And unfortunately, we're just going to, same thing with the budget,
For those throwing a little PR on behalf of the fire and rescue departments in the town. With 62 square miles, we have a long ride to transport patients from certain spots to the nearest hospital. And that's why this is really going to be helpful for everyone in town. I know that we have this. And every department's going to have one. I think that's a wonderful thing.
especially any of you that are watching that, if you've ever done CPR, it's exhausting. And you've got to switch off with somebody else because you can only do it for so long. This thing will go forever.
The right pressure and the right pace.
Yep. It's consistent.
So that's the move.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead because good news, tax rebates, number 6, we have none. Keep them on. I think that's good. Okay, next we have open bids for aggregate. That's materials that are purchased to be used by the highway department. Catch basin cleaning, equipment rental, and guardrail installation for the fiscal year 2021. And we're fortunate to have John Navarro joining us to assist in opening these bids. So I think the best thing, you've all got envelopes in front of you, and I believe you all have knives or various implements of destruction. Why don't you just open them, and if in front of you, if you can just make a pile based on whatever it is. And we do have to read them, yes?
I'm gonna just read what they are. When it comes to like equipment rental.
Yep.
We'd be here all night.
Okay.
We can just,
Typically, what we do with equipment rental is we give all the bids to John, and as he needs that piece of equipment, he goes from the bid sheet.
Okay, and the same thing with aggregate, it's your choice. You go to wherever you want.
yeah, that's the way it's traditionally been.
Okay. Is it marked? Oh,
This was this environmental services.
And I'm pretty sure it's catch basically.
You just remember to speak, say your name before you speak and speak up.
Do you want us to read these or look at them or what?
Make a file, with,
for each?
yeah, for each. And
All
then
right.
go
Keep the envelopes too, right?
Well, check, if it has the name of the company and the amount, that would be good enough, so you don't need the envelopes, but it depends on how, hopefully, it
through.
was,
Actually, it would be good to keep the envelopes. We send, letters back to them,
okay.
just so we know where we're sending them.
I'm going to write on this one envelope,
Sure.
the name of the corporation.
All right.
Match it up with that.
Anybody else? No. Have you gotten to all of yours? Have you gotten to all of yours? You want to give me some more? Some of them, yeah, it's like creative, yeah, some of them are ridiculous. All right. I've got, all right, I got catch basin cleaning here. Catch basin cleaning, another one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I also have catch basin.
Well, glad to see some of these bids are tree cutting services. A lot of trees that need to be cut down.
No, it's for equipment rental.
We've been cutting every week. 2 days a week.
Did anybody talk to you? I think this has to go to the state, where there's a tree, I think it's on 171, and they get antenna on the ambulance, wax it, and they combine it.
I was mentioning it, but I couldn't get a hold of DOT. I'll have to soon.
Find out where that exact location is. I think it's goes to veterinary clinic.
Point home.
We're hearing them all.
Yeah.
The bag you get in over there,
I got a couple of aggregates.
there's 2 more.
Do you have aggregate also, Jim?
Yes.
All right, catch base. Good one, right. Library. Do you have catch basins?
No.
Oh, wow. Do you have catch basins? Good, no? All right. Did you open it?
Yep.
Okay, equipment rental and inside. Okay,
Yeah.
so those are all equipment? Okay. What we got?
These two are aggregate.
Upstairs.
Equipment rental. Yeah. That it? Guardrail. 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 Okay. That it? Okay. You want to go through guardrail?
Yeah, let's do guardrail and catch basin cleaning, because those actually get awarded.
Okay. Guardrail. This is. Durham Highway Contractors. And they're looking at price per foot is $11. Price each terminal end is $50 new, used 50. Each fishtail end, $50. Installation of used 12-gauge steel flex beam guardrail. That's from you. So, okay, that's one. $11 from Durham. The second one is from Guidewright LLC, Ronald Stein. He is $60 for terminal ends, fishtail ends. He's 11 and a quarter, $11.25 per foot. So,
That's the guy that traditionally does it.
okay.
Have you dealt with Durham before, John? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. we send someone with their crews anyway for that. They just do the traffic control, make sure they're.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to award the guardrail installation to
Get it.
Durham,
It was Durham, Durham Highway Contractors. Okay,
Okay.
should I mark these? Just awarded or?
Yeah, if you want, sure.
What was the second one you wanted?
Catch base.
Catch basin. Aggregate. No, catch basin. Okay, Truax Corporation, North Attleboro, Mass. Cost per catch basin, $16.91. And then he's got description of vehicles, but you're just looking at cost per, okay. $16.91. Sure we don't miss anything. This is American Pipe and Catch Basin Cleaning, Manchester, Connecticut. $25.80 each basin. Environmental Services, South Windsor, Connecticut. $70 per basin.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So, what do we have, 70?
70, 25, 80, and 1691.
Truax.
I'll make a motion to award the catch basin contract to Truax.
Okay. Approved.
They've also been doing it for a long time. They know where they are. They're familiar with the town.
Yeah, they're in and out, like they told you yesterday, Jay.
Yeah,
They usually come in a week.
as opposed to sending one of your own guys out. Yeah.
We did switch to another company. Truax got beat one year and it didn't go.
No.
Didn't go to school ball.
John was telling me stories yesterday about horror stories. What do we want to do on aggregate? Should I leave it up to your choice? Because depending upon what you need, there's various types of materials.
Correct.
And depending upon what they have and what you need, you want to just take these and you make your own decision?
Yeah, if, I don't know if you want to read off who bid for the record, but that's up to you.
Read off, just who did?
Just so there's a list of companies.
All right.
And then it's a thing.
New England Asphalt. JSL Asphalt. Let's see. Ross Materials. Yeah, Ross Materials. French River Materials of Thompson. Brooklyn Sand and Gravel. Jolly Concrete,
Yeah,
both the same?
same company.
Okay,
Yeah, interesting from them usually.
okay. And the last one is RTI Materials.
It's, like Boston Transport.
Okay.
That's the guy that dropped it off this morning in the drop off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those people normally bid, with the exception of JSL, they're a new one out of Charlton.
Okay. All right, what we'll do, these were awarded, these are for you. Let me read through what we have here. Well, this jumps out at me. This is equipment rental, Stately Tree Service. SAS Construction. Willis Construction, don't even have to open the envelope. Pinecroft Paving, another local. All States Asphalt, Sunderland, Mass. Gary Asphalt Reclaiming, Bloomfield, Connecticut. Donnie D Custom Landscaping. Linden Tree Service. Tenant Tree Service. Stately Tree Service. Oh. Gorman Brothers, Albany, New York, willing to travel.
That's for the, cold and place recycling.
Oh, okay. And that's it.
Okay, there's one new contractor bid for Willis. Everybody else.
Okay.
Good. Right, that was easy.
We awarded two. The rest are your call based on what equipment you need, because each one, for folks who have not seen this before, each one lists a whole bunch of equipment, various prices. So based on what the highway department needs and the price, for that particular unit, it'll be John's call on what they need. Same thing with the aggregate. So.
Great.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So, would John can recommend certain product or equipment from somebody and this other product from somebody else? He doesn't have to, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to whole bid from one company.
No, you're right.
Best deal.
If you need to,
They can choose.
if you want to backhoe from Klein Enterprises because you have the best price and the best service, he gets a backhoe, but he needs a roller and he goes to Paquette Company. So yeah, that's a good way to do
Yeah, a couple other towns do the same thing.
it. Okay.
One of them works out.
Way to go.
Yeah, it works out well. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, we did all the work.
Yeah, and if you want, we send out the, award letters and stuff, so I'll take all that stuff tomorrow. I'll come get it. Just leave it.
Okay, I'll be here.
You want to leave it here?
I'll take it upstairs when I go.
Let's see. Next, we have correspondence and announcements. 7. Okay. This is an email that came in. Rick Cannon, he was on Water Pollution Control Authority, and at this time, he has found that he can't continue in his position for a second term. So based on his wishes, I would recommend that we accept his resignation, and we'll send a letter of thanks to him for, his work in the past. Huh? No, I'm just telling you. He's not going to stay on if you beg him. It's like he's telling us and we're saying thank you. Let's see. Alta Environmental Corporation sent us a letter May 18th. Basically, it's just the monitoring that they're doing, water treatment and water supply, monitoring wells. And this is over by the elementary school. This has been going on for years. It's they're frequent, and they do send frequent reports to the town, letting us know how things are going. For what it's worth, without having a summary for the year, things I think are getting better with the material that is coming out of the water. So it's better each year. So, it's in better shape. Got a letter from, this is interesting. Well, it's maybe not interesting. I'm going to tell you anyway. Eastern Regional Tourist District, which has been around forever, they aligned with Mystic Country. And they did this a couple of years ago. They're reaching out to us to have a representative from Woodstock appointed to the board. This is somewhat political, and the reason it is the complaints is the money spent by the state of Connecticut is all down in Mystic Seaport. They're asking us to make an appointment of a body from Woodstock to serve on this Eastern Regional Tourist District. Again, I'm hitting you cold with this, so I don't expect you to have names. If you want, we can table this. Give it some thought.
Do you want to put a posting on the website asking for
Volunteers?
volunteers?
We could do that. Yeah. We could do that.
You might find somebody who's got background in this area and
Do we know when the meetings are held always? I started it, they moved them around.
I don't know, but it is Waterford is the office. It's Eastern Regional Tourist District, Hero, Chamber of Commerce, Eastern Connecticut, Waterford, Connecticut. So I don't know. I do know, as I said, the complaints that I've heard, in way before I got involved with the current list I'm involved with, is that all the money is spent down in Mystic. And you never hear anything about, the antiques in Putnam or restaurants in Putnam or various things in Woodstock. So, but again, if we had somebody, and your point's well taken, Chan, if we can host this, get a body, at least we have somebody speaking on our behalf.
It would also be interesting to find out if, I assume this is what also may have gone to Pomfret and Thompson and
Maybe.
Putnam, what Gilly, and find out what's the plan, anybody else interested in a beneficiary of this money.
It's true, yeah. All right, I think we'll post it, and if you want, I'll check with other towns. Just ahead, did you get this? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, what else do we have? I have copies of the letter, which I think you got in your packets.
Yep.
From, Department of Labor. It's basically saying we had agreed because of everything that was going on this spring, we had awarded a 2% raise across the board to Teamsters and AFSCME, and we agreed to delay negotiations for another year. So the current contract will be good for another year. We will have to negotiate for July 1st of 2021. So that's just acknowledgement from the Connecticut State Department of Labor that they know what they're doing. Yeah, both. The other thing I got is solitude, lake management. This is you do not have this, but that's okay. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. This is basically an agreement that we've had for years for management of Muddy Pond. I can't tell you how long it's going back. The costs are shared between the Putnam, there's a Muddy Pond group, like a group of folks that live on the shores, and it's shared between them. It's called the Friends of Muddy Pond. It's shared between them and the town of Putnam. It's signed by Brian Lynch, and it's signed by me. And basically, it is total amount split through ways of $5,480. What they do is they do weekly testing of Muddy Pond. And the cost is split between, again, the town, the Friends, and Putnam WPCA. Testing includes nitrogen, coliform levels, and treatments. We're notified right away if there's water unsafe to swim and that sort of thing.
Which usually happens at least once a year.
It might, really? I didn't know that because I do know that it happens at Nash Market, like Flatwood. Unbelievable. Yeah. So anyway,
Where is Muddy Pond?
yeah. And please don't somebody say, wow, we haven't opened the beach, so why should we pay for this? Because it's an investment on next year.
We're gonna take the challenge, right? This one is.
Yeah.
Off the high board.
Okay, I think that's all I have, gentlemen.
I'm glad to see the progress upstairs as far as getting the window in for Linda's office. Glad to see that's moving forward. I think it's going to be a good addition to the town hall.
We have craftsmen working on that, absolute craftsmen. It's very similar to what you might see at Sturbridge Village. And no, it's coming along, and we'll get town clerk squared away too. So yeah, very pleased with that. Things will be changing here to meet the needs of folks in town. And much like this COVID situation with Zoom meetings, not so much for us, but a lot of people I've talked to in the industry are telling me that they're finding out that people are more than capable of working from home and doing distance. And they're finding the amount of money they can save on real estate because they're leasing these office buildings and plants nationwide. So they're looking at big savings there. And I think we also are going to be looking here at the town hall, we're going to be doing different business differently. And we're going to find people are more encouraged to use computers to get a lot of our materials here, or you can get online. And a lot of things if you need a dog license, if you need a marriage license, this sort of thing. When you go to the window, you're out,
Safely.
that was another concern, the safety. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. No, the citizens, our people.
Hello,
Or,
hello.
do we have any comments, questions, or anything for anybody that's been observing?
Yes, it's Diane Miller.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to report a little on that mask distribution that they had last Tuesday at the fairgrounds. Is there any other information about it? I was there at 7:30 in the morning, and apparently they started earlier than 7 o'clock because there were cars lined up on the highway, on the road on 169. And I picked them up, and it was in and out in 5 minutes. The amount of time it took to drive around the fairgrounds, and they tossed them in the window, and there were plenty of volunteers there. So I don't know how many they distributed because I left there shortly after 7:30.
I don't know. I could probably find out because I was talking to Stefanowski's. I was there at 6, and I stayed till, I'll say 12:30. One thing that was very good is that they had provided boxes, and again, I can't tell you the count, but Thompson got a box. I delivered it this week. Woodstock Town Hall got a box. We're talking to like Agent for the Elderly and some of the folks that might be more in need of them. And also a box went over to Pomfret. Very active. There were, it's interesting about the volunteers because a lot of them are what I would characterize as camp followers. In talking to them, they had gone to other activities run by that organization in other parts of the state. So like the week before, they were in Hartford. They came to Woodstock, and then I believe there was someplace else this week. So a number of them are really getting into it, and it was very well run, very well received. It bothered me personally because, you know, I was doing my part to contribute, and yet I got a number of people that stopped and wanted to know where Scott Haney was. So I had to say, he's up there on your left, but it's okay, don't say good morning to me. And then we're trying to get people to move, and I'm saying, man, you gotta move. I have to get a picture of Scott. So she's holding up this long line to get a picture of Scott. I told Scott, you know, as much as we welcomed him to town, it would make things a lot easier for us if he wasn't here. So anyway, you know, it was a very good day, and again, Diane, I can't tell you how many thousand were given out, but I do know that the people were from all over. I saw them from not just Woodstock, all other towns, and it really worked out well.
Okay, and the other thing is, if you have a meeting like this, I think they each need a microphone, you know, the other selectmen, because we can't hear them on this end.
Okay, well, by way of, thank you, and we'll look into that. By way of explanation, this was kind of an accident. At the last minute, Chandler called and he said, is there any way I can come and be in the room? And I said, sure. But then I said, I had seen Greg earlier today, so I texted him, I said, hey, Greg, Chan's gonna be here if you wanna join us. And he said, I don't think I can, and he showed up. So, okay, and Diane, your point's well taken, we'll have to look into that. This is still kind of new to us, but if we could have an auxiliary microphone, or even a microphone that we could share, you know, to pass back and forth.
Okay,
Thank you.
because I think the other person watching left because they could not hear.
Oh. Oh, okay. All right. We'll look into that.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Anybody else?
It's Cindy, it's the recordings, Cindy Brown
Oh,
and Diane and us.
hi, Cindy. Okay, if there's nothing else, gentlemen, or anybody here, or anybody, Diane, anything else from you, or?
Nothing else from me.
Okay, thank you.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second that. Okay, meeting comes to an end at, I don't know, 4:52 sounds good to me. Thank you. Thank you.